Hey, what's up, guys? It is your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero Ben 10,000 of YGO, and on today's episode of Behind the Screen, we have a guest. This is Owen, aka R2 YGO. So,
Hello.
all right, brother. So, I think the number one question is R2 YGO at all a reference to Star Wars? I think I asked you this question before, but you never answered. Is it like related to R2D2? I'm just curious.
That is a big question most people commonly ask me is where did I get the name from? Funny enough, it came from the first channel I made that was semi-successful on the platform. It was called Retroin.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting when I was trying to start it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of a I was in this voice acting sort of phase in a way, and I liked really old games. So
Oh,
I just
okay.
combined my name and the username together, and that's where the R comes from. The two comes from the second successful channel,
Oh, okay.
because when it came to the rebranding, because I used to be a team channel,
Oh,
the
okay.
rebranding it was more of a put the two there. It's like yeah, it's a second channel, was successful.
Okay. I literally thought it was a Star Wars reference. I'm like, I'm not even kidding. I was sitting there thinking, is R2D2 his favorite character from the movie?
Take that as you will, I'd say.
Right. All right. So I know you live in the UK. So that's that.
Yes.
The audience can tell because like every lady has probably swooned at the sound of your voice by now. At least the ones from the states. Let's face it. An Englishman walks in and the ladies are like, "Just talk to me." Of course, to be fair, I think that it's just everyone across the board. I'm sorry, like y'all just sound sexy. Like think about it. I'm sorry. I can't speak for how Americans sound. We probably sound like special needs kids or something to y'all. They're like, oh, these poor
Whoa.
Americans. They're there's an English comedian I saw. He has a great quote. When Americans we do everything bigger and better, especially stupid. Like your village idiot is in a park, he's screaming at clouds. Our village idiot is in the White House. I wish I could argue with that logic, but but anyway. So is Yugi? How is Yu-Gi-Oh? Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh isn't really any different in the UK versus the US?
Hard to say. Really, when it comes to the UK,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the player base is very. It's sort of the same in America in a way, but in the UK again, there's a lot of conflict in the community.
Oh, okay. Like, what kind of
Yeah,
conflict? Like, do we have like casuals and meta players? Like, I hate you. Well, I hate you.
yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Exactly that.
Which I imagine for someone like yourself, and probably you and I can relate to this. We're probably like somewhere I think in the middle between those two factions. Like, I don't really
Yeah,
play. Yeah, like I play casual decks, but I play them try to play them at a competitive level. So it's like it's like oh, it's a struggle. So I don't know.
yeah.
It's very
Because
similar.
most decks, it doesn't matter what the sort of deck it is, really. It's
Mm-hmm.
like how the pilot is able to like play it properly. Like you could have the best deck in the format and still lose
Yeah.
because you just don't know how the deck works.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of I think that's another misconception is like the pilot is just as much a part of the uh what's the word I'm looking for? I guess you could say the experience of playing the game as the deck is. Like, it's there and I think being successful in the game, I think you would agree with this is it's not just the pilot, it's not just the deck, it's kind of a combination of both. I mean, there's you know,
Absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
An example to this is like Prank Kids when it topped to YCS. Like no one thought it would top, but the player knew how to play the deck properly, and it topped. It
right,
got first place.
yeah, and also a skilled a pilot can take a deck that's like with one new card can take a deck that was deemed utter dog snot basically and pilot it to a win. There was a guy who did it a few years ago. You probably were too young to know about it because you're a youngin. We'll get to those jokes in a minute. But he took Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord Grand Soil, when it first came out, and put it in a psychic deck, and then he won a YCS here in the States with it, and everyone was like, "What?" It had one new card.
Broken.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. That was the only new card in the whole deck. It was that Elemental Lord. The rest of it was like a 5Ds era deck, and he won a whole YCS with it. Everybody was just like, everybody was so mad.
Mind blown.
Yeah, they were like, "What the?" But okay. Well, we gotta explain to the audience this joke here. So, tell the audience how old you are, if you don't mind me asking.
I am 18. I've recently just turned into the adulthood phase of life.
Oh, you hear that, ladies? He's that age now. So one of the jokes that Owen and I have, especially because we're in that YuGiTuber Discord with Invoked 101. Shout outs to you, Cyrus. You're welcome. Is I make jokes at Owen that I'm his dad, so when he makes some snarky comment, I'm like, "You're grounded." It's so dumb. I don't know why where this started, but it started.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened with when I think we were making Grandpa Ben jokes too, somewhere in there, and then I just took that and ran with it.
Back in my day,
we sacrificed our monsters and we liked it. I think, was it you? You're the one who requested that I should do another one, right? Or was it somebody else?
Yeah, it was really creative. Like having old and young put together is just magical in a way.
That's just my wackiness, man. That's literally my brain.
It's good. It's always good to be different, my friend.
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as experienced with your channel, I'm sure, as you are with mine. But what's the kind of content that you're most comfortable making, Yu-Gi-Oh wise?
Oh, that's a tough one. Really, I can take a video and it's semi good,
mm-hmm.
but when it comes to the editing part of it, I know how to edit that to shit. It's I know how to use the software very, very well.
So that's your forte. So you're just sitting there. Is that one reason why I don't think, as far as I recall, you don't upload very often, right?
I wish I could, but it's just the ideas.
Yeah.
And putting them into
and then
into
of course,
a motivational thing.
Right, and then of course because you're like an editing wizard, you're like, I could edit this to be like a full length movie. And then you're halfway through it, and you're like, wait a minute. The algorithm does not want a 2-hour-long Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube video. And then
absolutely.
And then you've got guys like me over here who use PowerPoint and Word to edit. You're like, see, did you see that glimpse on his face? And that oh, God. Oh.
Honestly, the editing that you produce yourself in all of the software you use is amazing. Because I remember when I was using Movie Maker when I was around
Movie Maker,
8.
Yeah,
I was using that at 8 and it was awful.
Yeah, I'm literally using 3 different applications, and what I'm doing is I'm taking PowerPoint, Movie Maker, and then I use a website called Pixlr. That's basically just how
I used to use that.
Yeah, so I use Pixlr to make PNGs, and then I just mess around with it, and then it's kind of like the transformation. I don't know if you watched my last skit with the Cyber Dragon deck.
I think I have.
All right, do you remember the scene where I hear the doorbell and I walk to the door and there's a sector security officer and I'm like, oh, then I kick your guys' butt. Yeah, and then he transforms into a robot. That was the hardest fucking thing. I will tell you that right now.
I can imagine.
I had to use Pixlr to copy and paste the PNG of the cop, and then cut around, put another image over and cut around him, just to get the liquid metal parts. And then and then I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Because I couldn't find a soundtrack. That's another thing I do. I download soundtracks from movies and stuff, and sometimes I use OBS to I'll record a video, and then what I'll do is I have another app on my machine where I can just take the audio out of a video and save it as a MP3. So that's where all my sound effects come from. So it's basically you're probably can do a lot more with like your one program I've got or application. I'm like over here going, okay, here let's do this part here, then we gotta put it over here, then we gotta put it over here. I've gone through like 8 applications just to make that 1 60-second transformation scene.
I use Sony Vegas and Photoshop for most of my editing.
Buddy, and it's grade A though. Like you guys,
Yeah.
by the time you guys have seen this, you'll probably have noticed that all my channel art is now made by him. It's like you took that one piece of art that was made, and then you like used your wizardry and made and then like, and it was just so cool. I was like, oh, that is neat. That's channel art now. I immediately threw it up there. Like as soon as I was done.
It's nice to look at.
It's cool. It's so cool. I was just like I had to show some family members. I was like, oh my god, you guys have got to see this. Because, I live with family while we're in the crush card thing.
The cough cough.
Yeah, I'm sure with everybody in the UK is probably like, and you're still alive? Just utter shock. How is I think that's another thing that we should bring up. How has your country handled that comparatively? I think you're still comparing us to the United States to your country. I'm pretty sure you're still handling it like leaps and bounds better than we did.
No, not at
Are
all,
you
my
sure?
friends. No,
I thought y'all.
Our prime minister is your president.
Oh God.
Yeah, they look the same as well. It's scary.
How does? Oh God, we can't have two orange idiots running governments right now. So I imagine you find I think his name is Boris, right?
Yeah, Boris.
Okay, I imagine you find him equally as insufferable as I find Trump. I imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not very. He's not that qualified to do with all this.
He's what is it? I guess you could say he's a few cards shy of a deck.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we're Yu-Gi-Oh players. We've got to make jokes, right? Especially right now, because the world is on fire.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm just waiting for 2020 to go ahead and like unleash like Godzilla or a zombie apocalypse. I'm just not surprised anymore.
At this rate, yeah, anything could happen.
It's like. It's like oh, there's a meme going around that's like, what's the news like? Damage report. And it's
What's the next chapter of 2020?
Yeah, it's like, oh god. Next we're gonna find out Santa Claus is real, but he's not like the jolly fat guy we all know. He's like that demon from that one horror movie. Yeah,
he's the robot from Futurama.
No, even better. He's just like, I'm going around with a grenade launcher. Yeah, and next thing you know, then come whatever the next voting cycle, 2024, it'll be AOC versus evil robot Santa Claus, and the Republicans will be like, he's gonna give us all free bazookas. I mean, come on, if I can't make fun of my own country, I mean, who can? Oh man, it's so embarrassing right now to be an American. Oh.
Britain's not as it isn't as well either. It's very embarrassing.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with Britain's like legal system or at all. I just like look at my own. I'm like, man, no offense, bro, but as you can see, I have a dumpster fire. It's like and he is like the least liked president. I think he's got like an approval rating of like 30% or something like that. It was like the lowest in history. It's like, yeah, it's bad. And it's really sad is because like I think Obama and Bush, the presidents that I've been around for basically in the States, because I'm an old man. Like as far as the three go, I think that this president has the lowest approval rating above them all, and none of them got higher than 50%, as far as I know. So it's like, yeah.
Wow.
So it's like most people like just like, oh, our leaders suck. I can't speak for how it is in the UK though. I mean, I don't know. I don't like literally outside of Boris Johnson. I never heard of any of them. I'll be honest with you. But that's because, you know.
Neither have I. I don't really take much interest in it.
I don't blame you. I honestly, like, sometimes I'm like, why the hell do I pay attention to politics? It just makes me want to stab myself in the brain and just. Because you're just sitting there like, how did this moron get there? How? He's dumber than a bag of... He's dumber than a Mystic Mind player. Shots fired. Oh, man. So, Owen, since we're now... I've gone full circle with the dumb presidency jokes back to YuGiOh. What kind of decks do you prefer to play?
I'm a control player. I love
you
control.
are the worst one. Oh, God. Owen's like, no, you play. Go ahead. Negate.
Your turn? Your turn? My turn.
Oh, man. So then...
Smiley.
So then you probably liked the game last night where I was playing against Nug and using Dark Magician Layer of Darkness. And I was...
Spicy!
I was beating the pants off of him when he was playing Eldritch. I was like, damn.
Nice meta deck, bro. Bye-bye.
Meta-ish. I mean, it was mixed with my Akashi, so I don't know how viable that is, but it was still like, the Eldritch cards are what I saw the most of in that game, but it was like, oh, Eradicator?
Yeah.
You get rid of all your trap cards before you get to use them? Oh, man. He had, sometimes I wonder if Nug was mad. I hope he wasn't too mad at me.
Activate Eradicator, Nubs be like.
God damn it. Oh, man. I know I kind of annoyed Cyrus last time I played against him because I got him with the dinosaur deck and he's just like, Ultimate Conductor turn.
He hates Dino so much. He hates that deck.
And it's like my favorite deck. Alright, so you're kind of in like the same vein as like say someone like DZ, for example, as a known control player in the Yu-Gi-Oh community.
Yeah.
Just
Instead of Geist, it's Guru.
Oh, okay. You're the other annoying deck. So you first like, oh, here we go, Ben's top 10 hated decks, and then what are the first two? Guru and Altergeist. Yeah,
It's just
can't. Sorry, Owen. Sorry.
It's fine.
Just chalk it up to Ben being old, because like back in my day, literally we sacrificed monsters.
We used to flip up Morphing Jar. That's a Guru.
Back. Here's how old I am. We used to flip Man-Eater Bug, and that was a good move.
I am a very good duelist. I normal summon Man-Eater Bug in attack position.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Like, legitimately, back in the day, like, literally it was like, okay, set Man-Eater Bug, set Trap Hole. Not Bottomless Trap Hole, just Trap Hole. And that was a grade A move. That was
T-set pass, best deck.
Best move ever. And then like the opponent would be like, all right, lodge in, and you'd be like, ha ha, no big monsters. Like it was, yeah. So for me, like I remember those days, so I just chalk it up to that. That's probably the reason I don't like control decks, because they're so, oh, I'm sorry, did
disgusting.
You want to make, yeah, they're like, did you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm sorry, but go ahead. Negate. I mean,
your turn is my turn now.
That's how it feels when I play against, and more against Altergeist than it does against Guru. I'll be honest with you.
Ugh.
Although, because I play Dinosaur, I kind of have that ability to kind of just send it to the grave without flipping it up. So it kind of, depending on the hand, of course, because luck's a thing too. But a Dinosaur deck isn't as threatened by Guru as it is by Altergeist, because Altergeist is like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bounce your shit. Go ahead, banish another
Silk go burr.
And I'm like,
my resource.
That was my boss monster, and now it's trapped in my hand because I don't have enough dinosaurs to banish anymore. So literally, how it goes, and I feel like when I play against Altergeist, it's just like,
I don't like the deck at all. I find it so annoying.
To play against. Does Guru even have problems with Altergeist?
Yeah, I've even played it. I played it at first. I played it at first. I was just like, ew.
Okay, so Ultra Guys is not your cup of tea, but Guru is like flip monster,
That's my baby.
negate, flip again, plus. Oh, by the way, my trap card
I
says
played
that,
it when Guru got released in a Savage Strike.
Oh, you were like, oh man, and then you got players like me who are like, oh, this is gonna be annoying, or this is gonna take a long time. And then
Guru Madolce is a fun deck. What do I say?
I mean, I can't judge anybody. I mean, like, legitimately, I mean, I play all sorts of wackiness, as I'm sure you've discovered.
Yeah.
Like, come on, I was like, I wonder if I took Layer of Darkness and put them in a Dark Magician deck. And it works.
I made Lair of Darkness ABC, so, you know.
I mean, that's why I don't judge people for their decks anymore. Like, I used to kind of be very elitist about it, like, fucking meta sheep. And then as I got a little older, I was kind of like, fuck it. Why do I even care? Yeah, I also can kind of blame
exactly.
I also kind of blame politics a little bit because, you know, when you compare politics to Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, like lawmaking to Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like all of a sudden I'm like, you know what, Yu-Gi-Oh just doesn't seem to affect me as much anymore.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like if somebody's playing, you know, Guru or Ultergeist, I mean, they're not as fun to play against, but, you know, it's not like, you know, there's going to be, you know, it doesn't affect me. I don't have to play against those decks. You know, I can just, okay, well, I'll just play against somebody else, you know, or something like that. It's, you know, it's just not worth arguing with people about, you know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, so that's why, like, I feel like I'm in that, and this is what where you and I are kind of aligned in that aspect, is because we're competitive casual, I guess you could say, or casual competitive. I don't know how to say it.
Tomato.
Yeah, we're somewhere in the middle between those two camps, and it's like, you know, we like to play our you know. Or we don't. I don't necessarily, like. Don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against meta decks. I just don't. You know, they're a little out of my my range.
Yeah, I agree. The price is extortionate.
Have you seen like the price of of Eldritch, like the main monster?
£150 over here.
Oh, okay. It was like $160 over here. So that's probably. I'm sure that's about the same. But it was like, Jesus Christ. I was like. I'm like,
boom!
I literally can buy multiple decks for that price. They may not be as good as Eldritch, let's just be honest. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I could afford to buy a whole Kenyi deck, and like a whole Dino Mist deck, and like a bunch of other decks that kind of have like good little, that have good combos for the price of that one card.
And plus, they're socks. You can buy so many of them because they're just socks.
Oh my goodness! So, I know you're a control-based player. Are there any decks that are like low-tier decks that are like kind of like a guilty pleasure for you? Like I like Phantasm Spiral as an example. You know what I mean? It's
this is back in the day stuff.
So what's your guilty pleasure deck?
Morphtronics, actually.
Morphtronics. All right, the Transformer deck. All right.
Power Tool Dragon and all. It's so spicy.
Did you is 5Ds, because that's where that archetype comes from, the Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds era? Is that about where you kind of did you watch any of the Yu-Gi-Oh series?
Where did I come? I believe I came near to the end of the GX anime, I believe. I came in, then it was 5Ds, then Zexal. I think it was the beginning of the end of GX. I came in.
Okay, so you skipped the OG Yu-Gi-Oh and went and caught the tail end of GX, and then mostly 5Ds was kind of your era of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that's a repetitive question. I'm just clarifying so I understand.
Yeah, that's fine.
But okay, that's interesting. So actually, 5Ds is my favorite era of Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's just because like that's when the Yu-Gi-Oh era kind of matured a little bit, So it was kind of
Card
like,
games and motorcycles.
yeah, exactly. And then and the hero wasn't as I don't know, he didn't seem as kiddish as the other protagonist. You had
Yeah, proper serious.
yeah, like Jaden's too happy-go-lucky, and then you had Yugi, who is kind of like bipolar, thanks to having two personalities in one body. So he's like, I'm serious and I'm not so serious. I'm serious. Pick a personality, asshole, and go with it. But and then you have Jaden, obviously, who's just like, everything will be just fine. I'm like,
and then near the end, he just becomes depressed.
I know. He's just like, It's like, like the last episode, he has to play against Yugi so he can remember. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be enjoying this. Could you imagine that, playing YuGiOh and be like, oh, that's right, I have to be reminded I'm supposed to be having fun here. Like, yeah, if you're not having fun playing YuGiOh, then maybe YuGiOh's not your game. Yeah.
It's a kid's game after all.
Yeah, right? Although, like, how many 6-year-olds do you see playing this game? That's all I'm saying.
None.
None. Yeah, I've
None
never. And if you do see a 6-year-old playing, here's an example of how that goes. I activate Dark Hole! And they scream at the top of their lungs as they throw the card down. Because they're a bunch of weebs that just watch the show. I know, because I was one of them once upon a time.
An anime duelist.
Oh, absolutely. I had fingerless gloves. I wore a head bandana at the locals at 13. It was so cringy. I'm just glad none of y'all were there to see that. Although, yeah, I guess you kind of get to see it in my skits a little bit, because I'm like, this is the part where I get to get wacky.
It's always fun to do stuff like that, though. It always is.
I feel like I have to do the wacky, though. Like, I feel like the audience doesn't just enjoy the deck profiles anymore. It's like, I gotta throw something that's just kind of like, instead of a light bulb clicking on, it's more like a spark and a puff of smoke, but you get the point. It's like, oh, this'll work. Yeah. I'm a clown, so I don't know. But I also know, like, on your content, you kind of like that a little bit too.
Yeah, that was actually the main premise when it came to the team channel, and then that just sort of just went down the drain, really.
So what happened with that? What happened with your team? Did they just dissolve?
It's hard to say. Like, really, I was the only one putting out content when I was like, right, do you want to put something out? They were just like, yeah, sure. Then it would get to around a month or two, and I'm just like, is there anything you want to put on? Like, the video you suggest, they were just like, not really, no. So it got to the point of where, like, okay, I'm going to go solo now, bye-bye.
Makes a little sense. I mean, team channels are kind of hard to, like, and the truth about team channels is like, there's always one or two guys that are going to put the most effort into it.
Absolutely, yeah. Then there's always just that one last guy who's just like, I'm just going to sit back and watch it happen.
That's kind of what's happening with the Team 50K channel a little bit. Like, it's Jesse's channel.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I know that Kamel, the creative duelist, and Bystander are the ones who upload the most over there. And it's just, I am so busy with my own channels that it's like, I never
exactly,
have time
it would be hard to maintain.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not that I don't want to upload over there. I do. I just don't have the time trying to maintain a good schedule for, the regulars here.
Yeah.
So I think, so is there an element to that a little bit? Like, maybe your former mates did want to, they just couldn't do their own life?
They're not as passionate about the game, really. They normally play it, like, occasionally, and I was just like, how about we make a team channel and see how it goes? They were like, into it. It's just when it got into the production phase, they were just really uninterested because they had to do something, really.
Okay. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is, man. Also, I think, like, sometimes with team channels, one of the other challenges with it is sometimes you have people with it can be a good thing and a bad thing. You can have conflicting styles. So it's like I was talking with who was it now? I can't remember. I think it was one of the other Yugi tubers that I've recently interviewed. One of the things I was talking about, or maybe I was talking about it with Cyrus on his Yu-Gi-Oh duos thing. I mentioned to him that like on the FTK page, it's kind of cool that you get guys like the Joker of Yu-Gi-Oh who does speed duel, and then you also get
Yeah,
guys like me who do the main thing, who are a little like casual competitive, kind of like I'm riding the line, and then you have more casual guys like bystander. So it's very like you get that variety of content, but the other challenges is we don't get to overlap very well. Like I was talking to
yeah,
Invoked 101 about it because he wanted to see me versus the Joker of Yu-Gi-Oh because have that superhero supervillain dynamic, but yeah, it just the thing is it wouldn't work because he does speed duels and I do the regular game, so it's like one of us would have to
yeah.
sacrifice doing what we're good with. Because let's face it, if you watch me play speed duels, it's just going to be bad. I'm going to be like, well, this looks like it goes there. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh well, what else is new?
Whoops. I guess I'll just die.
Oh, I'll just die now. Thank you. Oh look, I found a rope. I'll just see myself out. I am a jolly person. Can't you tell? Oh goodness.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm the goth kid that just didn't quite grow up. That's a horrible joke. Anyway, although I say that while you have a skeleton in your background. Have you ever done any skits with him?
Not yet, no, but possibly.
Halloween is close. I'm just saying.
Halloween.
I don't. By the way, do you all have Halloween? Do you celebrate Halloween in the UK, or is that just an American thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all have
Absolutely.
So do y'all do the same? Do y'all have any of the same traditions like we do, like going to houses and getting candy, that kind of thing? Do y'all have a
Yeah.
same,
We do that as well.
Same tradition. Okay, cool. Funny how things aren't as different as people like to think they are. Oh man, that's kind of. I'm always curious especially when I talk to other content creators who are from other parts of the of the world. Like yourself or Underworld 667, who's from Canada, or NDL, who's from damn it, I can't remember the country's name, Israel. So, Team NDL. He's Ilraz. He's from. He's in the Yu-Gi-Oh group we're in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Israel, so it's like, I always enjoy talking to guys who are from other countries because I get a very different perspective because, things are just different, and at the same time they're not as different as I would initially thought they would be.
It's just perception. You just think like, oh, is it going to be the same as here? And then you find out it is, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think, and that's the beauty of these kinds of conversations. We find out we have a lot more in common than we initially might have thought.
Yeah.
And then when the stream is done, I'm going to call you a dirty red coat. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're going to go into that. Stupid jokes in 2020. Thank you. But anyway, so what about, I know that here in the States with the quarantine stuff, we don't have a lot of locals tournaments happening. We have a few here and there, but we don't have a lot. What about in the UK? Are y'all completely shut down over there? Or are you just kind of half and half? What's going on in there?
Some locals up north have actually opened up, places like Milton Keynes. They've got locals. That's way up north. Mm-hmm. Down here, there's no locals on, which is depressing. Yeah, I've been playing online for too much.
Yeah, likewise. There is a locals, I could say. It's like a 45 to an hour drive. I don't want to risk it.
I could imagine, because you don't have the free healthcare like we do in England.
Nope. And I don't have any healthcare at all. So I don't have health insurance at all. So I just don't risk it. I have Where is it? I'll show you this. Everybody else has a cloth mask. I have this heavy son of a bitch. And you can already tell what's annoying about this mask.
It's like Bane from Batman.
Let's not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Owen. Yeah, and then like, so when I'm at the grocery store and I have to scream so they can hear me, so I'm like, yes, put the eggs in the basket. The basket. and then they're like, well, I'm sorry, what'd you say? What? And then I'm like, the basket.
Then they just look at you like, why are you shouting?
And then I'm just sitting there like, in like on a TikTok video, a camera gets closer to my face and I'm just like, At least the cool thing is if I ever am so frustrated I need to scream, I can just put this on, scream, and nobody will hear me. Except for maybe the dog.
That can be taken in many different ways.
Wink, wink. I'm just kidding. It's a horrible joke. Just don't ask your mother, all right? There's too many stories. I can't pay for your therapy, Owen. Oh man, there's so many jokes on that. Oh man, that's the only. I guess it's a good / bad part about being an older tuber, as I get to make jokes like I'm a dad. But
I make dad jokes myself. It's just funny. It generally is just really funny.
So out of curiosity, are you the youngest member of our group that's in the Duelist Alliance?
I'd say so. Yeah, Cardcast is 20.
Okay.
Nod's 21.
Okay, and I'm probably like the old man in the group, I think, because I just turned 30 a few months ago.
Yeah,
so.
you're like into actual life now.
Yeah, I'm the old man in the group. Although, like it was funny. I don't know if you ever watched me interact with like Master Swag King. The first time I told him I was 30, his jaw like dropped. He was like, "What? No! I thought you were like 23." And I'm like, "I like you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nope, I'm old." There's a reason I wear a cap. It's because this is gonna go away.
It's going away.
I mean, it's
going.
Yeah, I mean, it's going away, but it is what it is, man. I'm 30 years old, so
yeah.
Most men lose their hair. That's a fun fact. Like most men start to lose their hair. Yeah, after 30 years old, most men start to experience some level of hair loss. It happens. Besides, if it bothered me that much, I just get fake hair. I'll work with what I got, and then if it bothers me that much, I just get fake hair. Who cares?
Just slap on a red wig.
Are you kidding me? I'm gonna get a bunch of different ones. Y'all just won't even know which bin you're gonna get. You're gonna get gray, black, brown, blonde. You'll never know.
All the colors of the rainbow.
I will get a rainbow wig for Pride Month just to be supportive. I'll do it. I'm not even afraid. I got gay friends. I will do it. I'll be like, and here's my rainbow wig, guys. Supporting my LGBT brothers and sisters. And
absolutely.
And then all the other 30-year-olds, or I should say the older class people here in the States are just like, yeah, I don't like it. It's weird. I'm like, yeah, well, you already got one foot in the grave. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. I kind of am a dick to bigoted people. I can't help it. Somebody starts,
No, I could imagine.
Yeah, I'm like, although I live in Texas, which is a very conservative state in the United States, so I'm very much like, I actually pick my battles because I don't want to be the next guy who ends up on the end of a rope.
Ooh.
I don't mean it literally. I mean it figuratively. At least I think I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. My town's pretty crazy. Like, yeah, I had a great grandparent told me that before they passed away, when I was like little, that we used to have a sign that said no N-words allowed or whatever, or no N-words after dark. And I was like, what the fuck? Really? That was a sign that was in this? Yeah, I know, right? He was like, in my city? Are you crazy? And he's just
In
like,
my
yeah.
neighborhood?
Yeah, it was like, whoa. Yeah, it's very much like I didn't know that my small town was a sundown town at one point in its history. I was kind of like, because
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I mean, I grew up in the '90s. So for me, like seeing people of like all different races and beliefs working in the same community was like no big deal to me. I mean, come on, I grew up on Power Rangers and X-Men, so two
That's where
superhero
it's at,
teams.
boy!
Yeah, I mean, like those two superhero teams are known for having like a superhero in every group. A member of
Yeah.
didn't matter who you were. There was somebody that looks like you, like, and there's a short, hairy dude, the Wolverine. So I was like, oh look, there's my X-Men. If I was Canadian and smoked cigars, it would make even more sense. Man. Of course, then I'd be the Wolverine of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't have time for that rebranding. Oh man, could you imagine that with the chops and the cigar? All right, I'm gonna teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right, the first thing when you lose, you gotta tear up the opponent's cards.
And then if they don't like it, you say, "What are you gonna do about it, bub?" And then you shank them. Oh god. Oh man. So how does you and I did a thing recently with the Matrix jokes. What brought that on? What made you decide you wanted to do a Matrix skit? Or do you not remember because you've slept since then?
I don't even know. Like, I think it was just an idea. I was just talking with my buddy because I was just like, right. So imagine the Matrix, but with Tic Tacs, and then it just happened.
And then of course I don't have any Tic Tacs, so I was like, oh shit. And of course
Shit.
Here's the thing. Here's another fun fact. I went to the local grocery store to get Tic Tacs for that skit for you, and they didn't have any. I was like, are you kidding me?
Who doesn't have Tic Tacs these days?
I know, it used to be a plague. Like, I'm not even kidding. My local grocery store used to have a wall full of them. And apparently when I was doing the skit with you, they were like, nope, we're out. I was like,
where's the Tic Tacs?
my breath is getting stinky over here. I tried every excuse. They were like, nope, we don't have any. I was like, they were like, would you like an Altoid? I'm like, I will kill you. And then of course they, sure you will, shorty. And they patted me on the head and I went, I'm just kidding. No, I threatened to turn them into a Karibo, and then they rolled their eyes at me, and I was like, damn it, no one's threatened by this watch. They don't watch my channel, so they don't know how powerful it is.
They don't know yet.
They don't
Not
know yet. Oh, man. But yeah, like, I just was curious if where that came from. Like, obviously on my channel, I have, like, everything is, like, something that inspires something. Like, either the deck inspires the skit or some kind of current event where I can kind of correlate it a little bit. So, are there, I know here in the States we have, like, a lot of, like, BLM protests. Are you experiencing anything like that in the UK?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Really? So you have, like, Black Lives Matter protests, too?
Yeah, all the way up in London.
Okay.
They're tearing statues down and all sorts. It's very dangerous right now up in London.
Okay. I mean, I can't speak for London, obviously, because I'm in the States, so I don't really... obviously, I didn't even know, so... Of course, like I said, it's kind of hard to keep track of, like, global events right now, because my country is, like, a dumpster fire, literally.
It's in chaos, yeah.
Yeah, like, Florida and Texas have, like, the highest COVID numbers. It's ridiculous.
It's bad.
Yeah. I think of somebody... I remember hearing something somewhere that said, like, the United States has, like, the highest numbers across, like, the board, across, like, the entire globe, like, per capita.
It's massive. Yeah, I read something about that. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. And then we have mask protesters. We have protesters that are like, you're not going to make me wear a mask. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's just like,
It's like, how dense are you? This isn't
the UK is actually the worst in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, we have 45,000 deaths.
I think ours is like 100,000 or something like that.
I think it's bigger than that. I was just like, Whoa.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous number that's like, oh god, no. It's like, ugh. And then in the middle of a pandemic, we have people complaining about wearing a mask, and I'm like, and this is the least political thing on the planet. Like, out of all the
Karens,
things...
am I right?
Say what?
Karens, am I right?
I know, right? They don't want to wear a mask. It's like friggin' wild, and I'm like, it's like 15 minutes in the grocery store. Come on. Like, I saw a video where an old man, or I don't know, he may not have been an old man. He might have been like 45, 30, 55, something like that. So he wasn't quite old yet. You know what I mean? But he was
almost.
He was older than me. That's what I'll say that much. He was older than me, but he didn't seem like he was quite an old man yet. But he like almost tried to fist fight the guy who the guy working the door. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, I'm supposed to remind you to wear a mask before you enter. And he almost tried to fist fight that guy. And I'm like, what is wrong with people in my country?
It just makes you think like, wow, I'm smart.
It does. It does make me feel more intelligent than I thought I was. I'm like, oh wow, I'm an idiot, huh? Nothing like a dumpster fire to give you a new appreciation.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let's see here. We have discussed YuGiOh. We've discussed the COVID situation. Also, you can feel free to ask anything of me if you've ever had any questions on me, because like obviously this series is very much a kind of get to know you / it's also a conversation. So I'm just throwing it out there. But what other interests do you have besides YuGiOh? What's something that you do for fun that's not YuGiOh related? Don't say masturbation.
Really, YuGiOh
that kind of channel.
Whoa. But how did you know?
Thank you for being a good sport. But anyway, go ahead and answer the question. What do you do for fun? That's not YuGiOh.
Really, it's gaming, and it used to be Warhammer 40k until I stopped doing that.
Oh, okay. What made you stop doing Warhammer? Is it because of the price tag, or?
I used to do it when I was around, I think I was 13, 14.
Okay.
I did it for a while.
I have a buddy that left YuGiOh for Warhammer. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. He's like, I refuse to play YuGiOh. I think the thing that killed it for him was pendulums / link summoning. Like, he hated both those mechanics, and he's like, I'm out.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people.
He came back for Pendulum a little bit when the Blue Eyes support came out, because Blue Eyes was kind of like the anti-Pendulum deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Spirit Dragon's like, nope, you summon your monsters one at a time, asshole. so
no pendulum for you.
Yeah, so he came back for that little bit, and then when Lynx came out, he was like, I'm out. I'm like,
it's just like, hold up. Goodbye.
Yeah, he like literally sold / gave away all his cards, and then he went to Warhammer. So you're into Warhammer and generally video gaming as a whole.
Yeah.
So what video games do you play? Anything
like
else?
RPG games, RPG horror games. I like a tiny bit of horror.
Okay, so you like jump scares and things like that?
I remember when I was 13 when it came to horror games. Woo! I actually couldn't sleep.
Oh god! So since we're on the topic of horror, do you watch horror movies?
No, I don't actually. No,
you don't really watch. You don't like horror movies?
I've never really considered it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Have you seen any? Like, are there any that came to your mind that you've even seen as a kid?
No.
We're gonna have to.
Not really.
That.
No, I didn't really take notice.
Oh, we're gonna have to change that. I'm gonna introduce you to the Leprechaun. You're like,
what? Right?
I know you're thinking Leprechaun. Isn't that sounds like a cute movie? It's not a cute movie.
Sounds like with my Irish brethren.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure that if I showed that to an Irish Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'm pretty sure they'd be looking at me like, Americans, what's wrong with you? And I'm all like,
you're
an asshole. Yeah, they'd be right. And I'd be like, America. I mean, you got to make jokes, man. I mean, like, literally, if you can't make fun of your own country, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, has Donald Trump given me a lot of material.
It's just comedy at this point.
I know. What else are you gonna do? It's like I'm a regular dude, and I'm like, oh, at this point, I just gotta make jokes until November, and then I will vote and just pray. 'Cause that's it. That's all there is to it.
Pray.
Oh man, we're gonna need Yu-Gi-Oh Jesus to save us. Tyler, can you help us out here? I'm kidding.
Tyler, where you at, bro?
Could you imagine Yugi No watches that and he goes, "Oh God, leave me out of this politics." Oh, but that's all right. That's all right. He knows I'm making jokes. So one of the other things that I was going to ask is, like, you have like gaming and stuff. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking like Halo and things like that because that's what I played. But I'm old. So what you just turned 18. Are you now old enough to vote?
Yeah, I'm old enough to vote, buy the alcohols, everything now, to be honest.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I know that here in the States you got to be 21 to do alcohol because we're
Yeah,
stupid.
over here it's 18. We've got some weird laws. It's weird.
You do. So what are some weird laws y'all have in the UK, if you don't mind me asking?
You can drink at 5 years old.
What? Let me guess. Like with a
Yeah,
parent?
you can drink, but you can't buy it.
That's so weird. So, like, if your parents have, like, beer lying around the house and you drink it on the front lawn, the local cops can't do anything.
As long as you got parental permission, then yeah.
Yeah, just be sitting there in the driveway just staring at him. That's right. I'm drinking alcohol. Fuck the police. Oh, God. But don't do that here in the States. Even if in the states where they say that that's legal, I'm pretty sure the cops would be like, "I'm gonna beat the crap out of a 5-year-old with my baton." That's a horrible joke. I know. There's gonna be a cop Yu-Gi-Oh player who watches this video. He's gonna be like, "You dude, screw you, unsubscribe." That's all right. You gotta have a sense of humor about these things.
Yeah, it's all good to make jokes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's kind of my stress reliever, is just to make stupid jokes and dumb scenarios. And then sometimes they end up on the channel. Like with Terminator me.
That was just funny.
Oh, God. Get down. It was the worst. And my throat was kind of sore that day, too, so I couldn't, like, really do the voice. Like, I'm sure you heard it in one of the other skits where I did, like, the multiple transformations. I'm pretty sure one of them I did like a better Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, but I couldn't. That day it was not coming out, so it was like the worst one. I was like, man, I can't talk today. It was horrible. But I mean, I'm sure you have off days like that too, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was like 14, 15, I was doing Arnold for like the longest time ever. It was just hilarious.
I mean, the guy is so... I don't even know why it's so funny. Like, you know what's funny is actually when I was 5 and I first saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, I thought that's what happens when you get muscles, is you get that accent. Could you imagine? You just like, as you're working out at the gym, you're just slowly getting an Austrian accent. You're like, oh yes, look at these guns. When did you finally get like, I don't even know what the middle ground of that would be. Oh, man. Just slowly turning into Arnold. Like, that's literally what my brain thought at 5 years old. I was like... And then I get confused watching the XMen cartoons. I'm like, how come all those muscle dudes don't sound like Arnold? That's how they're supposed to sound. I don't know why. But, I know you... I don't know if you caught the tail end of GX, right?
Yeah, I did.
So did you ever catch, like, all the funny... like impressions of like famous people in the show at all?
Amber Mammoth. Yeah, Amber Mammoth.
Yeah, he was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Don Zalug was a Christopher Walken's. I don't know if you
was he?
Yeah, Don Zalug was like a budget Christopher Walken's. He was all like I can't remember. He was like, "Let me tell you how I'm gonna solve this mystery." And that's how he would talk. That's how Don Zalug would talk, and he was like a detective or whatever. That was his disguise. And then, do you know who Mike Tyson is? He's like the boxer.
The boxer, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah. He got famous for biting a guy's ear off.
Oh
They,
yeah.
yeah. All right. So there's one episode where Zane, the Cyber Dragon guy, is in the underground duels, and he has to duel this really big muscular guy. I found out later that actor was trying to sound like Mike Tyson. That was a horrible fail. He just sounded like a special needs guy. Is what he sounded like, and I was like, "That's literally what I thought." I'm like, "Oh, he's up here. He's not fully developed. That's what happened to that character." Or a little too much of the juice, if you catch my drift. Something didn't quite develop a little further south. So now he just talks like this all the time. I shouldn't talk like that because my stepsister has a lisp like that. And I make fun of her. Oh yeah. No, she's not like developmentally challenged. She just has a lisp because of her teeth. She had crooked teeth as a kid, so they didn't quite you know how like mine are flat. Hers are kind of curved forward, so she has a little bit just a little bit.
It's not annoying.
She's fine. But like, you know, my sister has that little curl, so she sometimes has a bit of a lisp, so she talks like this a little bit, like a little kid. And I'm like, "Oh, you're just so adorable." She hated that. She still to this day hates that when I catch her doing it, because like she's learned how to talk, you know, like everyone else now. But sometimes when like it comes out when she gets mad, and I'm just like, "You're so adorable when you're angry," and she's just like.
It's like a cat.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and I'm just like, "I will die giggling." I'm a fun sibling to have around. That's all right. You'll meet your aunt soon. But I'm just kidding. Oh yeah. For the audience who may have been maybe I don't know tuning in at a weird time. The joke is that Owen is my YuGiOh son.
Yeah.
So when he makes a snarky comment, I yell at him and go, "You're grounded," or "Go do your homework," or some shit like that. Or isn't it past your bedtime? There's always some stupid joke I'm making at you. Oh man. But actually, you know, fun fact about me, when I get angry, the redneck comes out a little further. Like, yeah, like you guys have never seen it because I'm pretty like when I have an audience, I try to keep myself very calm, especially when I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh for you guys. But like when that camera's not rolling, especially if I've been working with the deck for like a couple hours and it's just not getting anywhere, I'm like, "What in tarnation? This is some bullshit." Fucking nonsense. Yeah, that's what I look like. I get, especially when it's like I've been working with the deck for a couple hours and it's just not working the way I want. It's like hats get tossed across the room. I'm like, "This is bullshit." It's like the worst thing. I'm sure that you guys would probably love seeing that, like seeing me like triggered for a minute but I just don't record it, you know. But well, there was one time I could have actually. There's a skit where I tripped. And it happened multiple times in the video, and I was starting to get mad because I wasn't doing it on purpose for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I can't even remember what the skit was. I think it might have been the one with Nubbins in it, or something like that, or something like that. And I remember I was, like, walking towards it, and I tripped, and I was like, "Mother!" Yeah, and my redneck really came out. So I was like, "Mother! No, dang on!" Yeah, it sounded like Boomhauer from Hank Hill. I was so mad.
God damn it, Bobby!
Yeah, that show. Only I sounded like Boomhauer. I'm like, "Motherfucking dang on, tripping over, all for a dumbass bit." There you go. That's my fun. So do you get do when you get angry, do you get more English? I don't. You say what bloody hell or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know whether there's anything like that. Like, I know, like, being a Texan, we've got, like, you know, dang and son of a, you know, what in tarnation? Yeah, that happens here. But does anything happen like that when you get angry?
The inner British Cockney comes in.
Okay. So give an example.
Good old London.
What does that sound like? I'm just curious. You've stubbed your toe and now you're screaming profanities. What does that sound like?
Oh, what is it like? It's like a mix between Australian and British. That's where Cockney comes from.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't Australia just like the mix between the two of us then? I thought it was.
I think so. Yeah, basically.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was they just took the southern gent here and then mixed it with a little English and then boom, you got Australian.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody in Australia right now that's a YuGiTuber that's like.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. He's gonna be all like, crikey, they've
Crikey.
That's all right. We'll piss off.
I've been bamboozled, mate.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry, guys. Everybody will get a turn. We'll make fun of everyone. It's all right. Just wait. Oh man, I bet you there's a YuGiTuber in every country in the world somewhere, except for the ones that obviously have YuGiOh banned because it goes against their religion or something.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine like Saudi Arabia would allow YuGiOh in there. Like there's just no way. They don't. Like I'm sorry, there's just no way. Like I don't even know if they would allow YouTube in there.
They're just like, no, it's a no from me.
Yeah. Oh man, they're like, oh there's an idea from another country. Oh, we can't have that here. Oh yeah, oh man, they or not Australia. Almost said Saudi Arabia.
Australia?
Yeah, I was like, not Australia. I was gonna say Saudi Arabia like would behead people like me in the street. Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Oh yeah. They still behead people for like apostasy and sorcery and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, like they're still in the dark ages on some of their laws.
No YuGiOh. No YuGiOh.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna be like, they're gonna think it's they would think it's like witchcraft or some shit. And the only reason I know is because guess what? Christians have a similar history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially here in the States. Which is
Oh,
ironic.
God.
Oh, it's hilarious when you think about it. Not funny, haha, like funny, like really?
It's just like,
Yeah, like the whole point, obviously, historically speaking, is like, the whole reason why America, existed in the first place is because they wanted to go somewhere else where they could practice their religion freely. And then that concept is just void.
It's just like, no.
No, this is the way we do it. And it's the only way to do it. It's like, wow. Like,
okay, that's fair.
We don't need to go into that bloody history. No pun intended.
Oh.
I mean, if you can't make fun of your own country, that's all I'm saying. Anyway. So, obviously, we've mentioned that. Like, so what are your top favorite decks? I'm just curious. I'm going to bring it back to YuGiOh. I know I jump around a little bit, but I know Guru.
Top favorite decks?
Yeah, like, give me like 5 that you like.
Number 1's probably going to be Guru. Very fun deck.
Because Owen is a little evil.
we've all got that pleasure in us to play control.
I mean, sure. I just prefer doing a deck that's a lot less consistent. Like Fantastic. Which, let's face it, that's kind of a control-based deck. It's just not as consistent.
Secondly, I'd say Guru Madolche. That's a fun deck.
Okay, so you consider like 2 separate decks, but they're both like Guru-based.
Yeah. Third, Madolche. Very fun.
I feel like you're cheating here a little bit. You're just like, I like Guru Madolche and Guru Madolche. I feel like just cheating a little bit. I'm just kidding.
4, most likely Moki FTK.
Is that really a deck? I have no idea. I'm like, yeah, that's a deck?
It's a deck.
Oh.
Yeah. I made that, and I am proud. I'm the proud owner of that.
Hey man, I'm not judging. Lair of Dark Magicians was my crazy brainchild, so I was like, all right. I didn't even look up anything on it either. I just I just saw a card that I was like, hey, that tributes monsters. I have Lair of Darkness stuff, and my Dark Magicians are crap because I can't afford souls. So, there you go. It was a sandwich made in hell. Yeah.
What's my 5th favorite deck? Oh, Oh, there's loads. I play so much casual stuff, like, phew,
The list is too long.
it's very long. Oh, I think Pendulum Magician is my fifth. I really
Ooh,
enjoy that deck.
that's an interesting one. And
I played it for
yeah,
YCS.
there you go. Well, I can hear Triff now. Pendulum best deck.
Pendulum best deck, 7 negates, 420 interruptions.
And then he's like, jokingly, at the end of that.
I jokingly stalled for time. Jokingly!
Konami does not play around.
Oh
Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Konami for a hot minute here. So,
god.
yeah. So, obviously, I have my feelings towards the company itself, especially when it comes to things like the ban list and the cards they make. Do you ever find yourself getting kind of frustrated? Like, you're like, especially when you look at cards like maybe like Lightning Storm or the Eldritch Boss Monster, the Golden Lord, and you're like, God, why do they make all these good cards so fucking expensive? Or so rare and hard to pull. Like, do you ever feel like that kind of frustration comes about?
I definitely feel frustrated from it because you're not guaranteed a certain card in a box. But, like, again, it's how business works. They have to sell product one way or another.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, if you were going to change the way that Konami was going to sell their product, how would you do it? Just out of curiosity. Like, that would be different from the way they currently do it.
Oh, that's tough. Like, when it comes to contents of packs, I would say, screw Super Rares. Get rid of that stuff.
Oh, okay, so you just, like, no more supers. Okay.
I hate Super Rares. They're just commons, but with, they're boneless commons.
Okay. So you would just make all the super rares commons, and then...
I mean, Ultras, I like Ultras, because, that actually has more sort of shiny.
Okay, so out of the curiosity, though, would you make, like, all the good cards in the set Ultras, and we'll just have Ultras just be the foil cards, and then that kind of thing, or would you kind of go a different route?
Like, with some cards, they are power creps. That's how this game works. There's always power crep in the game. Like,
obviously,
but then there's also cards.
Creeps, Hard Piece Feather Dust, and Regeki.
Yeah, but then there's cards that are good, but they're fair in a way.
So, sometimes I get a little frustrated, especially when I'm trying to find a new way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, man, I want to ferretize the game, like, sometimes. Like, just zap the game and be like, boom, now it's fair. Now everybody has broken cards. Or something like that. Do you ever get frustrated like that? That would be chaos?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that would turn the game from basically Yu-Gi-Oh! To chess with Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards? That's literally what it would turn into. So do you feel like that would be a fun way to play, or do you think that'd be a very, like, oh, this game is now boring?
It's sort of with traditional format. Like, they have good cards at one.
Yeah. I remember
like you can still do some crazy, like, shit with it. You can do, like, Firewall FTK and stuff. I'm just like, nah, you're alright. You can go back to your separate format.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like FTKs either. I fucking hate those, especially when they're consistent.
I played Gem FTK for so long, and I regret it.
Oh, you're the guy that was at locals that everyone's like, oh, there's Owen. Fucking asshole.
Oh, there's the FTK boy, and I say, Master Diamond Effects for the third time?
Hey, Owen, what's that? No, I'm just kidding. That was Steve did it. He did it. That wasn't me. I would.
It was Steve.
There's not even a guy at locals named Steve, but we're gonna,
We'll go with Steve or Kevin.
No, we're gonna. Wait a minute. Isn't Triff's first name Steven or something like that?
Steven Trifanowski.
Oh, okay, great. Then we'll blame him.
We shall blame the pen god himself.
We shall blame him. It was him. He struck you with his lightning, pendulum lightning. It was weird, man. It was like half. It had a number on one end of the ball, a different number on the other. I don't know. I'm just making shit up here. So are there any so you prefer control decks? Obviously, do you when you see a combo player, you're like, oh, this is gonna take forever? I'm just gonna get a magnet.
I just look at them. I look at them dead in the eye and smile.
Oh, okay. So you see a combo player and you're like, I'm going first.
I say end of main phase with a giant smile on my face.
Oh God.
They look at me, their eyes shatter. I'm like, Nibiru, and they just cry. They will just cry.
Oh, that's what's up. I also acceptable answers would have been, I activate Super Poly, end of battle phase.
Evenly matched, smiley.
Yeah, exactly. Any one of those three options is like, because Super Poly's kind of like another screw you card. It's like, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I'll give Konami credit a little bit. They do try to create budget equivalents to solve the same problem. Like,
yeah,
let's face it. Like, there's Nibiru, evenly matched, Super Poly, and like Raw Sphere mode. They all solve the same problem. You have a giant board of negates.
Different ways.
Yeah, exactly. So I will give Konami credit. It's just sometimes it's frustrating as a budget player myself because I can't always afford to buy those cards, or I have to find a different way, to go about solving that problem. Like, maybe I have to use Dark Hole, which is not exactly a good card.
I can't believe that card is at 3 though. I'm just like, bruh.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Could you imagine if that thing would have been at 3 at like in 5D's era? Like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
that would have been awful.
Yeah, it'd have been like, I'm winning. I've got 4 monsters. Dark Hole. And now I'm winning. And then the other guy's like, oh, man.
I had a guy open 2 Dark Hole. I negated the first. I'm like, ha! I win. He activates another one. I'm just looking at him like,
why? Why, Konami?
I was just like, oh, I've just lost.
Power creep is sometimes funny and also creates really good stories. Like, to think about how, like, players like, my age who were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When you were, like, little, used to complain about cards like Mirror Force.
Mirror Force was so broken. Why was that card released?
Exactly. But it's true, though. We used to complain about Mirror Force the way players today complain about Evenly Matched.
Let's just say Mirror Force was the reason we have trust issues.
Exactly. But I don't know. Sometimes Power Creep provides those kind of funny stories about how like we would get mad. I have a fun story. I'm going to share this. You'll probably appreciate this. My opponent is my best friend, the one that quit Yu-Gi-Oh! To play Warhammer. I don't remember why, but I had Obelisk the Tormentor in my deck, and it ended up in the graveyard. He Monster Reborns the Obelisk to his side of the field.
Oh no.
Then he tributes it for the Grand Maju Gazette. So basically what that does is it doubles the whatever monster you sacrificed for it. It gains that monster attack times 2. So he had an 8,000 attack monster. I had 1 trap card. Do you want to know what my 1 trap card was?
Magic Cylinder. Smiley.
It was Magic Cylinder. Yeah, so I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. He's got Obelisk because... I'm an idiot and I thought that Obelisk was unaffected. I would be wrong at that point. But anyway, then he tributes the Grand Mod for that Maju Gazette thing, and he's like, attack? And I'm like, he's like, GG. And I'm like, you're right, it is GG. But not for you.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Exactly. And then he was just sitting there like, good game. He was mad for about 2 seconds, and then he was all like, I can't believe you resolved that. He didn't have a negate. Anyway.
Magic Cylinder is so funny to use. I love that card.
Too bad it's just not a viable option right now anymore. That's the only sad part about it.
Yeah. And it targets. Yeah. It's annoying.
Like, how weird. I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just, it's a funny game. But that's probably the reason why we like it so much, is because there's all sorts of like weird interactions, and then sometimes Konami's got to ban some card from back in the day because now it's broken.
Because it's not once per turn.
It's like, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. The only reason why I like Edo Pro is like I'm gonna say this is like when Konami the last ban list came out and they had like Ultra Geist Multi-Faker at 3, and then they let the Rip Beast off, and I'm like, I will enjoy playing against Ritual Beast players. You want to know why? Because they're going to be sitting there doing their loops, and then they're going to forget about the clock. And I'm just going to win because I'm just like, okay, that's fine. You didn't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, you just wanted to play solitaire with Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
And now you can be punished for it.
And oh, look, there's the clock. And your timer ran out. I win! But, although, fun fact, Cyrus had to tell me that they play double summon because I thought only the Goki deck plays that card right now. I was like, what?
Double summon in that deck is so good.
Oh, in Goki or in Ritual Beast?
In both.
Both? Yeah, Goki is kind of funny. It's like, I actually didn't see that one until I saw, like, the Grand Championship for the YouTuber one that Simo was putting on. And then I saw like, the budget Goki deck do it, and I was like, bro, why didn't I think of that? Oh, God, it's
because Suplex isn't once per turn.
Oh, no, I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was so mad at me. I was like, because it's such a simple card, like, and especially in that deck, because you don't give up any advantage doing it in Goki.
Exactly, because you just get it back.
Yeah, everything replaces itself, so it's like you get a full hand. And the Link monsters are stupid. They're like, oh, I'm unaffected by everything, and I'm huge.
And I'm in the gate. And I'm not once per turn.
Or I'm a field, or I blow up multiple cards. You know what I mean? Like, what's his name? Power Ogre or something like that. He's like, oh yeah, we got him and another Link monster. He's like at least 3,200 attack or something like that. He gets ridiculously big, and he's unaffected by everything. So it's like, well, I better open up a kaiju.
Or you better swing it.
Yeah, you better have something big. Oh, man. Yu-Gi-Oh's just a funny game like that. So are there any decks that... I know you've been playing online a lot lately, right? Because obviously quarantine has got us all, hiding at home for the most part. And the lack of locals.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, have you even bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards since the whole COVID situation started? Like I know I've bought a few.
Yeah, I have actually.
Oh, you have. Have you? Have you been in the UK? Have you been experiencing shortages at all? Like I know at like local WalMarts and stuff here, retail stores. The way they've had like I've seen signs like, oh, you can only get 2 items per purchase per day or something like that. So it's like because people are, like buying out the entire Yu-Gi-Oh section.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm like, that must be the store that Simo's been visiting or whatever. You know what I mean? I can't remember who or Team Sam visited that one. That's what happened there. Because he does like that. Like I spent $1 billion at Walmart opening.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, that's such a waste of money.
It's just like, why?
Why?
Why would you do that?
Like, I literally, like, he pulled, like, a whole Dangered, like, Dark World deck, like, he out of product. And I'm sitting there like, bro, you could have just bought that deck for, like, a fraction of what you spent.
Not even a fraction. Like, it was massive what he spent. I'm just like, why?
I mean, the flex, I guess. Like, I don't know. That's something that I hope I never lose as my channel gets more subscribers, and maybe I do get monetized. That's like one of my personal fears is like I'll stop being a budget player. I definitely think I want to try and like always stay a budget player. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know.
It's always good to be budget. It always is. Always is.
Yeah, because like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. There's also something very satisfying about winning with like a $50 deck versus like somebody who spent like $1,000 for their deck. Like, oh, I just beat your $1,000 deck with this pile of shit.
$50.
I was like, I didn't even spend that. I stole it. I'm just kidding. Hey, sort of. I mean, I bought it half price. It was a steal. I think I'm hilarious. That's all right. I can be my own greatest fan. I mean, sometimes you have to be. Would you say that in the early stages of Yu-Gi tubing, I think that you and I can agree to this, is that it definitely has to. You kind of have to be your own greatest fan, especially in the early.
Yeah, days. Absolutely.
So, I'm gonna tell a little story, and then I'm just curious to see if you've ever experienced anything similar. So when I first created the Ben 10,000 channel, I had a lot of people tell me, especially from Zodiac Duelists, that Facebook group. I don't know if you're familiar, and if you're not, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Zoo. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of them say things like, "You a gimmick? Oh well, your channel's never going to go anywhere, and we're all laughing at you. We're not laughing with you, even though the half of the channel is supposed to be a joke. So I don't really see the difference, but for my personal opinion." But I was just wondering if you ever experienced anything similar to that, especially like for me in the early days. Like, did you ever have anyone like say things like, "Oh, you're gonna be a YouTuber? You're never gonna do anything with that," or anything like that? Really, you've
Yeah,
had
yeah, it definitely happens, but you just look at them and just say,
you just flip the bird and watch them cry.
yeah, and then you get somewhere, they're just like, oh, that's unexpected.
Yeah, I sometimes I can't even remember the names of the people that did it, because part of me would love to like be like, "Oh, and I have 900 subscribers now, and how many do you have now?" You know what I mean, to the naysayers. But I know it's just petty, and I don't remember their names anyway. So
Yeah. Zoo is it's a war zone.
yeah,
Really, it really is.
it definitely can be. I don't post there anymore. I do post there sometimes, but it's very rare, and only when I have something that I'm like super proud of. Like my Dark Magician Lair of Darkness deck was a deck that I definitely shared there, because it, like, you know, I no offense to Nug, but he wasn't the only Eldritch player that I wrecked with that deck. So I mean, I'm just saying, I had fought a few like invoked / synchro Eldritch with that Dark Magician Lair of Darkness deck, and I was just sitting there like, oh wow, I'm kicking tail with this thing.
I'm kicking some ass.
Yeah, I posted that in Zodiac, and that got a lot of likes, and nobody said anything there. But I wouldn't dare throw like my Board Breaker Blue Eyes deck, which is really a casual deck, but it's just supposed to be like oh yeah, I summoned this really big monster that can attack multiple times, very much like dinosaurs in that aspect. And but I wouldn't dare post that there, because they would tear that thing apart.
Yeah.
And I know it was
I agree.
And I was hesitant to throw it in the Blue Eyes players Facebook group, because they can be pretty brutal too. Like
they're all Kybers. They're all Kybers.
Oh yeah, if you are not playing triple Blue Eyes and triple alternative and X amount of this other dragon, they're like, it's not Blue Eyes.
It's not Blue Eyes. It's just a gimmick. Be gone.
Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, like, look, I get it. It should at least have triple Blue Eyes White Dragon to be called a Blue Eyes deck. But in my opinion, that's all you should need. Just triple of the vanilla, the rest of it, do whatever the fuck you want to do with it.
I agree.
That's just how I feel about it. But man, some of those guys in there are like, it's not pure. And I'm like, pure can't make it. Exactly. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love the Blue Eyes deck. I think it's got some really cool combos and features, but that deck just cannot, in the current state of the game, keep up staying pure.
Yeah. It's way too slow.
Yeah, it's got to mix with something else. You know, with dangers or invoked or guard dragons. It's got to mix with something to keep up. And I don't know. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, like, you know, I mean, if you one of my philosophies on my channel, and I was wondering what your opinion might be on it, is if you have a favorite deck, like say your favorite deck is the, I don't know, we'll go with like Bro Thunder or whatever. That's like the Ties of the Brethren Thunder Stun deck or whatever. Then by all means play that deck, but just try to find the best variant of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what your
favorite. Be the best you can be with it.
Yeah. It's like your Guru deck. I'm sure that like you're like, okay, let's try this hand trap instead of this hand trap to go with this deck. Or let's try this flip mechanic instead of that flip mechanic, you know, and try to see. I'm sure you've probably come up with all sorts of craziness that other people are like, whoa, that actually works with Guru? What?
Guru Geist.
Altergeist and Guru? Oh, you just evil, Owen. You're just a super villain.
I hate the Geist part of it, but it's very good because Wind Up Zenmades, I think it's the level 3, is able to flip Guru face down, and in end phase we can flip it up because it has to, so we can search a Fiendus. We use guard dragons and all sorts. It's lovely.
Oh my god. Owen, you're a true villain. Oh, and you're the kind of guy who gets on Edo Pro and is like, oh, Ben's on. Time to troll him, because you can't spell control without troll. I stole that from a Magic the Gathering ad. I'm not even kidding.
You can't spell control without troll. That's actually funny. That's actually really funny.
And it's literally from a Magic the Gathering ad. I'm not even kidding. Or maybe it was like League of Legends or something. I don't remember, but there's an ad for another game, and they said you can't spell control without troll, and I was like, oh, that is so good. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But do you have anything that do you have any other kinds of decks that you like to play outside of control, or are you just strictly a control player?
Right now, I'm playing Madolche as much as possible.
Okay, so what is it about Majolte that you like? Besides the artwork, you creep. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah! Told you he was a villain. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yes.
Really, it's just the special summoning, really. It's just really unique.
Oh, okay.
Like, being able to shuffle stuff into the deck is just unique.
I mean, your boss monster is pretty crazy. Like Tiramisu, like her ability to spin back, like that is. Oh man, that gives me flashbacks.
And there's a lot of lines of play with the deck as well. Like, there's not just one line of play, because like if you open like one messenger Lato, you're kind of stuck. Like, right, I can't do this combo anymore. I've got to do this combo now.
Yeah, but there's like you said, like this combo is still just as good as that combo. It's just a different route.
Yeah, because I've actually had to write down all of the combos I need to do if I open such and such card to still get the same board and possibly more advantage.
Also, no pun intended, because we were talking about messenger Lotto and I said the word route. But I'm sorry, I am a man of simple humor, so I love a good pun. So, but yeah, like I was just curious about it because like I know a lot of players like certain decks. So like for example, you would probably reveal like in that project I was talking about, which I'm not gonna reveal anything too crazy yet. But in that project I was talking about in the Alliance, like the card you would reveal would probably be like a Madolche or a Guru card, or Guru as your card to reveal for you.
Guru go flip.
Which is kind of funny because that would kind of be fitting for that video.
Search Venus.
Actually, it's fun. Somebody, Zara, she was one of the people who I've had on this series before. When I asked her about what I was talking about in the Alliance, she was all like, so basically you just want to do the stuntman challenge, but with Yugi tubers. I was like, oh, that's a better way to put it. So instead of punching each other, we're like, haha. You know, that kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. That was basically the idea. Well, Owen, you and I have been talking for almost 2 hours, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the series. Is there anything you would like to tell the audience? Like something that they should know about you before we head out?
I make weird content and I upload randomly for some reason because I don't have a upload schedule.
Well, yeah, I don't know how many subs you have, but you're still in the hundreds though, right?
211.
200. I don't know why I thought you had more than that, but that's what. Maybe after this you might.
I wish.
Well, maybe after this you might. We'll see. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Go subscribe to Owen, or I'll turn you into a Karibo. I'll make Owen do the editing for that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you want me to.
If he doesn't do it, I'm going to have to ground him. You don't want Owen grounded, guys, do you? I'm just
No, you don't.
Who knows what he'll edit? Oh, God. He's trapped in his room with a computer? Oh, God. And there's so many ways that joke could have been taken. I'm sorry. You have to put up with my shenanigans. Oh, man. All right, so guys, go subscribe to R2 YGO. He's a great guy and a good sport, and let's face it, he puts up with my crazy antics pretty much on a bi-weekly basis here. So show him some love. Go subscribe to the guy, And guys, I think that we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.